called the stone seat in Hemmitt, which is called the star sun Sirius. And we'll get into how can a star be God, because I'll explain that to you in a few minutes. In the Holy Quran, it says, He is the Lord of Sirius. So that particular star that they're talking about is this heaven structure, and they're saying our earth is being caught up or heading towards that into a grand initiation. And it will be initiated into the brotherhood around 1997. So therefore, since you are the microcosm of the macrocosm, and because you are the only people that was here when the earth was formed, therefore that means you being initiated too. Because you are just like nature. As the earth has a grand birthday, you have a birthday too, and you start waking up. Okay, so we right in the middle of this. The white man want to keep you saying he done built the, go on with that Olympics and all that kind of stuff, because he want to keep you off track. Okay? Now, the ignorance is the law. Ignorance of the law is an excuse. I want to get this right, because some of us are 2 days into knowledge, and already we start to chastise our brothers and sisters. It's not. You see what I'm saying? What we're saying right now is we want to be just like a mother with children. That child can be the devil, but she love it anyway. That child can be crippled in anything, but she'll love that child anyway. That's love. So we're saying at this particular time, the fire and brimstone is for the beast. We want to save all our people. Because I don't believe that our people have paid whatever foolishness that they're doing now is crazy. It's nothing but a manifestation to tell you that the lowest point is here, so therefore we got to go up. So therefore, they have, even if they're doing some stuff that's the most hideous thing on the universe, they have paid through slavery and for losing their mind. You see, they've already paid for that. I don't believe you can have no karma that they're talking about. How the hell can I have karma when I'm asleep? Don't make no sense. I go before God, like I said, I go before God, and God say, hey, I'm doing this for you and this for you. Because remember when you was in South Carolina? I said, wait, but hold on. I stand before you, the vessel of an original man. I'm going to get out of this African thing because you are the God of this universe. I stand before you, the vessel of original man. But therefore, when I was in the United States of America, I was not original man. I was a nigger. You see what I'm saying? In the niggerization of my mind. So therefore, I cannot be chastised for being dead. See what I'm saying? So all this stuff in these holy books is talking about you catching this fire and brimstone. It ain't talking about you, because how can a dead man be chastised for being dead? Think about it. Those books was written for the animal man on the planet. It wasn't written for you. You was the embodiment of what they was trying to teach the animal man to be. This is why Muhammad had to go into those savage Arabs, those white Arabs, and teach them this stuff. You see what I'm saying? Because he knew what the blue, black, Cushite Arabs knew. You see what I'm saying? He knew what the blue, black Egyptians knew. He knew what they were, so he had to take the essence of their soul and put it into writing. And that's all the religious doctrines is. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, you cannot be chastised for being dead. So we're trying to get all of this particular stupid stuff out of your mind to get you on a high level to start thinking like God. If you're going to inherit the earth, you need to start thinking about what the earth has and what you're supposed to be when you run this thing. You see what I'm saying? We're talking about gods. Okay? Now, black people are being kept ignorant, and that's one of the greatest parts in the UFO literature. The sister read it in the book. I want to get the part and read it again. I took it and blew it up out of the UFO literature and put it in red, because it was one of the most profound things that was ever said by a beast before. You know, every now and then they get a breakthrough. I put it in red and all this, but this is one in black. It says the insectoid powers, and the sister, I was going so fast. Elaine read it on the actual radio the other week, which was great because I wanted, it says the insectoid powers fears the black race and have kept them subjected to ignorance, I put in there, and confused, for they hold a key to knowledge. That's what the white man says. Their genetic clan, or genetic melanin, information is needed to unlock the advanced secrets from the Sirius data. The segmented data unites also which carried by the Indian clans, which is Native American, also the black Indian, which were originally from the fourth planet in the Sirius star system. You understand what I'm saying? So now this is why you get books, all these books on the Quran. They always leave that page out on the start. They leave it out. You got all kind of these big, thick books that's writing on the Quran, because now it's mainly these white Arabs religion, and they don't count black people as Muslims in the whole 9 yards. In Arabia or wherever. You see what I'm saying? Because they're the ruling powers, and they got the golden rule. Who got the golden rules? They say that you ain't no real Muslims to them. You see what I'm saying? But they're not the real Muslims because they're the beast, trying to front that thing, and they're trying to copy you. So anytime they have these books, they always take Sirius out. There's only a few people even mention the Surah of the Star, because they know the Surah of the Star connects them right back to the book of coming forth by day. In the book of coming forth by day, they say, well, if that's the same God of the Egyptians, and it's the God of Islam, which is the last religion in the 6th century AD, they're saying in actuality that the God of this world has got to be black. So therefore, they want to take that out because they talk about it as the same one. And that God, and we know that you're supposed to read the Bible and the Quran and the Torah and the book of coming forth by day like one book. It wasn't never meant to be separated. This is one great thing why the power of the Nation of Islam rose up and was so powerful under Elijah Muhammad and even the Mr. Farrakhan to that particular doctrine, where it even got other black people as Christians to even go into Islam and even consider it for the simple fact that they put both books together. You see what I'm saying? Because they were meant to read together. Because how in the devil can the deities be the same in one book and be the same in another book, and they don't belong to the same God here? You see what I'm saying? So they say that you got the grandfather who is Hebrewism, the father who is Christianity, and the grandson who is Islam, which they say, but in actuality, we know that's the way they put it in organized religion. But we know that all of that, forget the doggone religion, they're talking about the nature of black people. So we really don't have to feel insecure about, well, I'm in another religion, not because you go beyond that. You beyond them doggone scriptures to teach some other fool how to act. You see what I'm saying? And even in your craziness, you still are the model of behavior to this society. Like I say, the white man don't feel secure. You know, the white man don't feel secure at all, not unless he got you in it. That's right. Then he say, oh, now we can put it a part of divinity. That's why they're trying to get you in all their churches now. You're falling for that bulljack. You see what I'm saying? So even in your craziness, and you know that you are the exercise of God, even in your craziness, because you're the only people that's been treated this bad and never rose up against your slave master. So even in your craziness, you should always say that in actuality there's no other people that's done that. You see what I'm saying? You see. So I don't know if that's an attribute or craziness anyway. But still, yeah, to make it count for something good, we'll say that, in the whole 9 yards and stuff. Because, we got some deep-rooted stuff. Y'all all right? Yeah. Okay, now, let's keep going on. On Venus, they have never fallen. There are black people on Venus, too. Never fell. Mars fell twice. Then they learned their lesson. Earth has fallen about 100 times. Why? Because number one, Earth is the prototype of one of the first planets which was inhabited by God. So therefore, by you being closer to God, you had more power to do certain things on your own free will. So therefore, you had the power to fall all those particular times. Because that's chaos. And chaos is the form of God, and therefore, which is the nothingness of space, and from the nothingness you get the absolute, so anything can happen. That's called the African's right to be wrong, or the indigenous people right to be wrong. So they were saying when Faulkner, Henry Frankfurt, in his book Egyptian Religion, he said, when I'm studying this stuff, we see these contradictions all up in the middle of the doggone meta. And he said the reason we, so the Europeans said, oh, the Egyptians didn't understand their religion. Now that is a doggone contradiction within itself. They didn't understand their religion. You understand what I'm saying? But that could be put positive too. They're saying that God gave that religion. Or whatever, but no, they were saying the Egyptians didn't understand their religion. And then Frankfurt got it right. He said, oh, I see what the Africans are doing, or the indigenous black people are doing. He said they put contradictions in their own purpose. That's right. Because that's what life is. It's a big contradiction. That's the cosmos. It's a big contradiction. That is what light is. It's a gas of contradictions. And AC, DC, positive, negative means light. It's contradiction. So by you being the gods of the particular realm, you were in actuality You in actuality were the ones that was able to do these particular things to even make yourself lower. So that means in actuality, because you have gone this low, that means that you can only be the model of the universe that can be on the throne rightfully, because you are the only people in the universe, or the only specimen or spasm in the universe that forgot who you were. That's lower than a dog. A dog knows who it is. That's lower than plants. That's lower than the ant. Everything in the universe knows what it is but you. But now when you look at that on a divine level, you have gone where no man has ever gone. Think about that. You see, so now, that's what they're talking about as far as the earth is the home of the Godhead. Now this particular earth itself is becoming a cosmic sun. A cosmic sun is what it's become. And therefore, if you are a magnitude or the microcosm or the macrocosm, and you are an intricate part of the earth, and it's becoming a cosmic sun, then in actuality, you're becoming cosmic suns too, in that realm of energy. That's what's getting ready to happen. So therefore, you trying to build your little governments and all your little bull jive back like you had in Egypt and all this kind of stuff, that ain't going to work, because you won't even recognize this earth. And you won't need none of that stuff. We've seen two people already. One in April that saw it, and one I met about 2 weeks ago that saw it. One saw this particular mothership. Not necessarily the one that Honorable Elijah Muhammad had that was built on the earth. She saw another one. Either one of them is magnitudes of you can't even comprehend. She said it was a crystal city that she couldn't even comprehend. One sister went to the subterranean worlds, which we're going to get into. The devil tell you to be scared of hell up under that ground. You want to get to that ground, but that's your hell. She went to the subterranean worlds, and this sister, she came in and she said, some blue black men came in my dreams and snatched me and took me down there. And she said, what I saw, she said, I saw this civilization and these structures. She said, but it wasn't as physical like what you see. And she said, you can become a part of the structure yourself. It's that kind of stuff we talk about dealing with. She said, I saw these things. And she said, and I'm trying my best to describe it with you. I said, well, you did a pretty good job, to say something of that magnitude. So the earth is also becoming a sun, and you're becoming a structure too. So what we're talking about, the Godhead, you can forget all this other bullshit that you think you want to get back to. Because even what you think you want to get back to, that's your lowest point. You see what I'm saying? That's the sub-level of your lowest level. There is no word to describe on what you're supposed to get back to. And this stuff is real too. I'm going to go into a lot of things. Let's get this first thing out, and we take a little break, and we can go on into some stuff. And also I'm going to give some stuff. I'm going to give a message to Minister Farrakhan and a message to Minister College. Now, if you don't give this message to Minister College Muhammad is a dead man. Because whether you think it or not, whether you think they were successful the other Sunday, no, they weren't successful. But you did exactly what they wanted to do, and it was Operation Success. So we're going to get into that in a few minutes, so y'all stick with me. All right, okay, now, the government will tell you that everything is all right, and do not worry about it. Life is going to go on with the white man forever. That's called a catechism of impossibility. The white man wants you to think. The white man wants you to think. He wants you to think that everything, that his reign over you is forever. Therefore, you say, since it's ever, I might as well sell out. And this is why you sell out over and over again, because you cannot think beyond the white man. So the white man is shaking in his boots right now. But yet he's still building buildings. See, this is how he do things to make you think. He does things for you grammatically correct people up in here. He does things to make you, give you the illusion he's going to be around. So this is why in 1940-something, they said that the Olympics will be in Atlanta, Georgia. Because they knew that by that time in 96 that their reign and empire would be about over. But they said, we probably won't get to 96, but we want to give them in 1990. We want to pick the Atlanta Olympics and get you all hyped up and start thinking that everything is going to be forever. So they picked this because remember Greece supposed to have gotten it because it was the 100th-year anniversary. Now that seems strange to me. This is the 100th-year anniversary of Greece. And they couldn't even get it. They said, well, you can get it in year 2000. She said, we're a poor country. We can't afford it now. That's why we came now. And it came to Atlanta. Because they want to give you the catechism of impossibility in your mind. So therefore, no matter how much I come up here and tell you that it's up and it's over, your daily life is still going to be consumed of doing the white man's things. You see what I'm saying? But they already told you God's going to come like a thief in the night. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And the revolution will not be televised. Yes. But then again, so he's putting things on the TV and letting you think everything. He did his AT&T commercial about, oh, you will be able to do this. You know, make a telephone call while you under the swimming pool. You know what I'm saying? And all cook some eggs while you making love and all that kind of crazy stuff. You'll be able to do this. He's trying to set you up because he knows that he's shaking in his boots. And this is the illusion. Almighty Muhammad said the cracker will keep on building buildings to the last days. To keep you into another house. You see, the white people are in a whole other building than you. Because they say, well, Almighty Muhammad said, well, you know, in the last days, the cosmos will open itself up to the white man and he will be the most wise. You remember what they used to say about it was the wise ones, it was them devils that knew more about the teachings of Jesus than the actual followers. You see, so the white people are into this stuff, and I'm going to get into some things too, why you got to really separate yourself from white people, period. I'm tell you some things on white people, how they deal. And I done saw the work they doing, and they whipping ass too. And believe me, you mess around with them, you're going to be messed up with these crackers. I've seen some of the things they're doing, and they ain't doing things like you think. You the one that's out here killing each other on that realm that the white man used to do with the Indians and used to beat you with hoses in the 60s. White man on a whole other level. So therefore, you think that he's humane. But no, he's just advanced with his doggone evilness. And he's whipping your behind right now. Now, 80% of the things that's happening to you right now is because of white people on another realm doing psychic warfare. We're going to get into that today also, too. Now, and get into that today also. Now, so now, he's going to keep building them buildings and keep you asleep. Now, Bill Clinton, 1st of June, has already passed the martial law bill. Understand what I'm saying? Yes. And he passed that martial law bill. What he does is, some of you are not vulnerable enough for him to get deep into your stuff and hang you out to dry before the world. So what he does is, he picks the niggas that's close to him. Like that fool, that no good Uncle Tom fool, O.J. Simpson. Now, I know you ain't got sympathy for this creep. I got a friend that worked for Capitol Records out in Hollywood. And he said that he used to go to clubs, and even though he was married to the Beast and all this, they used to go up in there and be looking for women, because it's the thing that football players do, married or not. So it was him and this other football player, one of his best friends. One of his best friends he always talk about. Carol. It's one of these fools who was with him. They said it was up in the bar, and they said black sisters used to come up to him and they wouldn't even talk to him. But the white woman come up to him and they set out the drinks and everything. You remember go get the book Out of Bounds where Jim Brown was talking about they wanted O.J. Step to him to do some things. Remember they phased black people out of Hollywood? And they phased them out of Hollywood. You know, you had the black exploitation flicks, but still, yeah, we might talk junk about them flicks, but them flicks made us kind of feel a little good. Images on the screen. So I don't care what nobody says. I remember them black exploitation flicks. And so therefore, and because I used to see Shaft and all them, I was fortunate to not grow up with the inferiority complex that some of our people had prior to that. So some things that would seem negative actually work metaphysically for us. Because whether you like it or not, we enjoyed those flicks because we saw the black man on the screen and his whole world. So even though some of the negative connotations and stuff about the pimp and the hoes and all that stuff, what we didn't realize was we still saw our image of ourselves in the own world because we know the media is power. And so you know around 1977 they started fading them out, and by 1980 they was totally gone. And by 1981 they had put the NAACP put the boycott on them, and it wasn't until 1986 when Spike Lee started it back up and black people got into the golden age of filmmaking for themselves, so therefore they didn't have to depend on the beast to make the thing. So the white man said, I'll punch your little cash this way. You see what I'm saying? And now all of a sudden you got these black movies again. Mainly also because they was threatening to boycott because they knew that we had gone through so much of the actual movie tickets was sold by black people. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how it is when you on the bottom, the only extracurricular you got is, you know, a movie. You know what I'm saying? Or Coca-Cola. Or like they say in the black community, they sell more grape soda, more orange soda. And sex also, too, is your only extracurricular activity. Which is also positive, too, that I'm going to get into in a few minutes before we close out. Because, see, there were some things that was meant to shut you down from Godhood so they could put in the mythology of the organized religion, they made sex bad. And I'm going to go into that in a few minutes. But Jim Brown stepped to him and said, we need to get this whole thing going down with black people. And they gave Richard Pryor $40-something million. And Jim Brown, he put him over, and Jim Brown wanted to do the black thing, but in a positive way. But Richard Pryor said no. He, under the behest of the white man, he started doing these stupid movies and made some movies like The Toy. Him walking around disgracing himself with a little white boy playing with him. And all these old stupid behind movies he made and squandered away the $40 million. And they asked OJ, and OJ said, I don't want nothing to do with these black people. Nothing. You see what I'm saying? Now he done laid down with the beast and gave you his ass to kiss. Now since the white man now is on his covert plan of bringing in this particular martial law by crucifying your black figures before you, Mike Tyson, Michael Jordan, you see what I'm saying? Michael Jackson, always the ones that's closest. But I can say I can take Michael Jordan, Michael Tyson out of that category because it was because of Mike Tyson hooking up with Don King is the reason why they did that. You see what I'm saying? But these ones they started crucifying before you is because they're trying to give you this sense of martial law that's getting ready to come down because Clinton just passed the bill in June. You see. But see, okay, they just crucified Arsenio Hall, we know because he made the stand up, but see, I don't give that nigga no props. Because see, before his show was on the rocks, he wasn't about jack shit. He was just fresh. Arsenio, like what you call it says. Because let me tell you something about it. You remember, I used to read this brother. I remember when Mr. T first came on in '89. He said, what you wearing them chains for? He said, these chains is because of the gold. He said, these chains, I'm still a slave, and now my shackles are turning to gold. I mean, he was dropping a little sign to say, I'm just a high-placed slave. And I said, I refuse. Now the man dropping the sign. I refuse to be called a slave. He said, man, you don't own this station. You don't own no pair of money. You don't own none of this stuff up in here. You a slave. Man, you're a high slave. I'm over here. Then Jim Brown came on one time. So Jim Brown had this little poopy on, was talking to black stuff, and Jim Brown said, Assalamu alaikum. And so Arsenio Hall trying to be cool, he said, wa alaikum salam. So then, he just think, the terminology. He figured I'm going to steal the terminology because I know what's down. Trying to be cool. So Jim Brown called him on. He said, you down with the minister? And he said, you down with the minister? And Arsenio said, I don't have nothing against the man. I don't believe in some of his ideology. And so Jim Brown said, what you mean? And he said, we got to go to a commercial. Then when he came back on, he said, I'll see you in 23 hours and stuff. Peace. It was time to go off. You see. So he was the white man's nigger. You see. Before. And then the last thing, I say about this Negro, I don't see. John King came on. John King was talking. He just started the King Vision. Now that was getting up there to what the white man saying. Now you about to kind of be like Ted Truman. You see. So they really didn't like that. So then he had a thing, he was steady. John King was positive and he was steady trying to paint this man nasty. But what about when you was doing this here and all this kind of thing? And John King looked at him and said, look man, he said the white man been trying to throw me in jail since 1973. He said, now doggone well if the white man had something on me, I would have been in jail a long time. He said, for the mere fact that I'm sitting here talking to you, let you know that the man ain't got nothing on me. So you might well cut that stuff out. He was trying to paint this person. Now they said that Arsenio used to pull up to the club. All they did was hang out with white people, white girls, and they said all them niggas is faggots too. All of them. They said all them niggas up in that stuff is faggots, man. But then you don't get up there high now unless the white man got something on you and castrate you. And they say he used to pull up through this long limousine. These white girls used to get up out of the car. And then the car would pull down the street, and then Arsenio and one of his partners come walking back to the club. The white girls got out and stuff. So I mean, all these niggas, even though he stood up, but Arsenio knew that his doggone show was on the verge of being canceled anyway. So therefore, he had enough $1 billion. So he said, I'm not gonna stand up anyway. Now we understand that the reason why they really took it off, he just came in and said, well, you know, I know they said it was going to show the clothing store down, but it's already done now, so we're just going to have them on and boom. But he just got up there and made a little mark. I got to do what I got to do. Right. So then they took him off. But this whole thing with O.J. Simpson is not also to castrate that. But see, but the whole thing about the juice is you lay down with your doggone dog and you get up with your feet. See what I'm saying? You get up with your feet. So even if it is springing, and we know that the thing is springing, but see, he ran the white man. The white man could have stepped to him about a couple of months ago and said, hey man, look at this pearl handle knife. Do you like it? Look at it. He go, yeah man. Oh yeah, Paul, yeah. You know, because we always laughing at their corny jokes when they ain't funny. We always trying to please them. And if you go down and listen, and take this test out. If you see 5 white people walking down the street and 1 black person, watch and see who's smiling the most. White person acting on, the black person is, oh, you know. But if they're walking with a group of black people and all, you can't even get a person to even smile a little bit. You see what I'm saying? Doggone man, when you can smile some, he just a smiling and all. So he probably say, look at this knife. Come on here, look at this knife. And he grabbed the knife, oh yeah. He got his fingerprints on it. Next thing you know, he done stabbed up his people and all. They do these things. You see what I'm saying? So these are things that's also going on also too. Now, so we know that thing, so that this martial law and all this thing is getting ready to come. We don't need to get into that because we want to stop. See, what we're going to do is we're going to get the jump on the cracker. Before he do his New World Order and all that, we already got the gods in place. Remember, like what it said, one little part on that 10 Commandments, it's always a good metaphysical story because the story was not talking about slavery in Kemet or Egypt at that time, because there was never any slavery in Egypt at that time. It was talking about slavery of now. So you can take that particular one, and the evil Pharaoh as the white man, and just take it, put Moses and all the Hebrews as yourself, and put the evil Pharaoh, not the Egyptian, but the evil Pharaoh as this government. So therefore, when you see the movie again, remember he told, he said, now the next time you try to judge me, and whatever you put on me, you're going to judge yourself. So everything the white man going to do to you is going to come back on him. So we're going to get the jump on the cracker before he do all of this stuff. See, this is the white man's New World Order plan. He done had his New World Order. Now he's trying to go in our New World Order and make plans. No, it ain't going that way. It's our time. So we're going to get the jump on him, and I'm proud to say we're going to save all black people, even the poor. You see what I'm saying? If the white man don't execute them first, if they whatever left of them, we're going to save them. Because remember now, they dead too. Even the ones that say they out of their minds. And no matter how much you think you conscious, you still got pathologists will jump up because it's worse than crack, and it's got a relapse rate that's 18 times worse than crack or cigarettes or alcohol or whatever. So like we said, we're constantly in Niggas Anonymous, and we're struggling Negroes to the day we die. That's like that too. So that time, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna save all black people. We gotta get this in mind. Even if we physically can't save them all based on some of us killing ourselves, the thing is we're gonna save all black people. Okay? Because we are all 2 days into knowledge, and now all of a sudden, now because we think we're getting a little righteous, we want to do some things. So that's the first thing. Okay, then we're going to do this little, what time is it? 9 o'clock. Okay, we're going to get in this little mystery of sex right quick, and then we're going to break. Number 1, do you know that this particular sexual stuff, the kundalini and how you used to feel when you was a god, the magnitude, you're saying, well, I don't know how it is to be a god. The magnitude of the force of what you used to feel when you was a god. Every time you climax, you get a little glimpse of that for a couple of minutes. Now just imagine that every day in your life. Now I know it's quiet because you're thinking it's no. I'm telling you, this is the whole thing. See, they had made the nature of you and your sexual nature, they made it negative. And they mainly made it negative also in connotations with the woman. So they made all that negative in the mythology and actuality to shut down your nature of what you really are. So you can open up your systems through sexual power, sexual energy. Since you are the gods, there's no such thing as no sin. So you got to get off that level. The gods used to do high spiritual things. So sex being a spiritual manifestation of power. Because once you get into the what you call the occult, which is the hidden, they put that little word, funny word, occult. That's your spiritual knowledge. And the stuff is hidden. But when you start digging into the Vodun, you start dealing into the actual, the science of the Yoruba, you'll see all this sexual stuff. And go back in the Kemet, you'll see all this sexual stuff. That the major organized religions had to cut that out because, you know, at that time, man, he's been going down to his lowest manifestation. But at one time, this sexual stuff is the power that you used to have. And this is the stuff that can actually open you up. You see. What's that?
Isn't it a particular path you should follow as far as going in this union What I mean by that,
well, the first thing you need to do is
love and love.
Okay, well, see, the whole thing, we're not talking about love. See, you misconstruing the act. See, one thing, so we understand that one part was for procreation. The other part was a spiritual attainment to you to really lock into your woman and the spiritual union. We're not just talking about, some force and all, because you've been trained to just try to get the climax. And you miss all that in between. Because you don't know what to do. You're like animals now. You know what I'm saying? But if we talking about a serious act, you miss all that in between. You see what I'm saying? So now we're talking about a serious process. One thing you need to do is when you're making love, which is not against the Creator. Because the first thing they told me when Melchizedek came in and talked, they said you need to get into the sexual tantrum. And what they meant by that was they said because you got to make a union with your mate that's on a high level of spirituality, and you can only do that through sex, which they cut out. This is how you really make that union. You see what I'm saying? It's just that you have missed it, you on a low level, so you thinking it's lust, and you thinking it's a lust thing, but it's actually a union. When you mate with somebody in actuality, there's a bond there. You see what I'm saying? There's a bond. It's a bond that is nothing unlike the feeling inside. There's also a spiritual bond there, which you misconstruing as love, or you just hot in the ass. No, it's a spiritual bond. You see what I'm saying? See, there's a spiritual bond there. You see what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with the spiritual manifestation of a high spiritual attainment of Godhood through the natures of sex. So the first thing you do when you make love from now on, you try to put a bright light between you all, around you all while you're doing it. And then enjoy the pleasures of mating with your person before the climax. I know you be trying to work up to that part. I think I got it. Yeah. You got it? No. Enjoy the act of this particular thing, because this is all spiritual connected. You understand what I'm saying? This is all spiritual connected. You see what I'm saying? You got to enjoy the act. After a while, you'll find out that it'll start reversing. It'll start reversing to the point where as when you do make that climax, you feel like a letdown.
Right.
I mean, it's a letdown. It's the power is all gone. It's gone out. If you reverse, you won't feel good like, hey, man, woo, yeah, woo. No, and where you got to go to sleep, no, you feel like it's a letdown. You see what I'm saying? And it'll increase longer, too. You see what I'm saying? You be like Superman in 3-4 hours. Boom. You see what I'm saying? But see, you didn't do nothing at all, you see? Because at that particular time, what happens is this. This is what you do. Put the spiritual light around you. You know, and you go in, and then you work out, and there's a point where you can stop. But you know, you can stop. But see, when you thinking you're not supposed to, I'm trying to get mine. She's like, damn, I hope you don't get hit before I get mine. No. What you do is, when you get to that point where you really up there, you stop, break, close your eyes, and meditate a little bit, and think on the chakras. Find and think on these chakras. And try to take that semen and direct it back up. You see? This is how you do things spiritually, direct it back up. Just imagine it. Just imagine it going back up. You see what I'm saying? And just do it that way. After a while, you find out that that'll start reversing. You see what I'm saying? That'll start reversing. You see. And if you do happen to do that, like I said, you should do that. The older you get, you should do that once a week. You see what I'm saying? Especially the male, not the female. Because all power is given to the female, because she is the complete microcosm of the Godhead. So all power is given through her. After a while, you'll find out, when you do go into the mate, you'll see all this energy. You see what I'm saying? And when you do it right, when you do go in the right way, you'll see all this energy. You see. And you have this particular power. You know. One time I did it. Boy, I woke up the next day, and there's a guy named Houston, he's a psychic. He called, he said, man, he said, the gods are all up in your room. He said, all over you. Which I couldn't see him because I was still working on that needle, got to get that right frequency to lock in. He said, the gods are all around you. They said, they're all over you. You see what I'm saying? And this is how you have gods too. Because once you start raising your value to a rate, then all the spiritual vessels will say, I want to get into that woman to be born again as a god. You see? Other than somebody, see, they don't want to come, at this point, they don't want to come to somebody who ain't going to do nothing with them. And see, once they get back to the third dimension, they forget who they are. they end up being like the gods on the street. Because all those people out there on those streets once was gods that made a mistake. They say, okay, oh, cool, man, I can master the third dimension. And they come down in here not thinking of the power of the third dimension, that they get trapped. And those are gods. All you see out there is gods. They say those are fallen gods. So what it is so they want to come into people who raising their thought process and thinking on a higher level. They want to come into that. So then you get children. They be born and they be like 4 months. And they be acting like they're grown. Even though they be talking, just look at them. Just look at these babies. Even though they be talking baby stuff, they be acting grown. It's a certain way they look. And I see some of them, I say, man, I said, that's a grown woman. I mean, you know, they can't even talk and they doing things now because now the gods are reincarnated. So they're acting like they're grown. These kids, man, they are older than their parents. Because these gods have been choosing to say, well, we got to get back down here. You see what happened is what's happening is this. The earth is getting ready to be lifted up. It's going to get caught up in the Sirius. So what's happening is you got the whole universe. And so they say we lift up one planet at a time. So we can get the whole universe in on this. So the earth is, and this, let's put it this way, this solar system too. This one with all the 12 planets. Get ready to get lifted up. So what's happening is all the gods from all over the place are trying to get down because they want to get lifted up too. Because some of their planets might be from me, because there's trillions of planets and parallel universes. They might want to get here too because of the simple fact that they want to get lifted up too so they can come back and be God and lift their people up. So they're trying to get into this cosmic juice. So now the gods are trying to get through the women. You see, but they're not trying to, they're trying to pick the ones, and if you start raising your laboratory rate, these children coming in now, they're real smart. And so now check this out. Do you have some not 2 months old? I've seen this happen. I've seen a baby, she's about 6 months. And she's talking all day. The baby talk. Then all of a sudden, I was down in Jacksonville, Florida, and this baby, and the little, she had a little brother, who they say who was a Buddha that reincarnated. He's a Buddha, and he reincarnated in his body. So I said, tell your sister, this is a spiritual sister that deals with me. So they gave her straight up juice babies. They gods. Now he was a Buddha, but this particular girl, let you know that they're all trying to get here. This was her first earth incarnation. She's been on other planets, but this is her first earth incarnation because she know the juice get ready to get here. So this little baby coming in was a Rata. And she talking to little baby talk. And I said, tell her you love her. And he said, well, she's already told me she loved me. He said, she just told me. And she talking to the little baby, she said, and that's why she said, I love you. And she went back to talking to baby stuff. I said, oh, Lord, what the hell's going on? And then the mama came out, she said, yeah, she does that every now and then. The goddess will come through. So we was in the car in the whole 9 yards and stuff, and she was talking, and the little boy was messing with her, and the mother said, stop messing with her. And she was going, and she stopped, she said, stop. And she went back to talking to baby talk. And this is not just little words that you think, oh, she learned how to say something. No, she made complete, she said, I love you just like I'm telling you. And then she went back into the baby talk. And then the sister said, oh, yeah, she said, every now and then the goddess will come through. Because they know who they are. Yes, they do. So they are doing these things. So right now you got to start thinking of sex on another level. And it ain't nothing but you ain't going to hell because ain't no hell. So if you ain't no hell, then what's going on there? Number one, I want to ask you this question. How could God be in, I would ask you, see, we so stupid. And mainly it's the religions who's got it. I'm going to tell you what the aliens have said. How can God have a pact with the white man? He going to honor the white man, so he tell the white man, anybody who don't have a piece of paper from you to say they're married, if they have sex, they go into hell. Now here's the doggone devil. With a piece of paper. Now he done got a piece of paper, and the white and the God ain't called cooperation with him now. With the devil saying, anybody don't have a piece of paper from you saying they're sacred ceremony, they go into hell if they have sex. God, how stupid can we be? But we learn these things when we look. So therefore, when we grow up, all you got now in all the churches is one big Sunday school going on. And you don't need nobody hollering at you with your good common sense to think that you got good spiritual attainment. Because the preacher is the worst joke on the planet. You see what I'm saying? Now what we're going to do is we're going to break. We're coming back, and then we're going to really get into some juice. Just talking about the hair on your head, talking about hairy. Hairy means Sirius. Your hair means Sirius. Krishna means the blue-black god within Sirius. Hare Krishna. The hair of Samson meant Sirius. Samson in the esoteric terms meant the heat of Sirius in the sun when it rose up in the on July 23rd, which is Samson, and he was stripped by his hair because your hair has a double helical structure of the DNA of the universe, which makes the good hair. The only hair that defies gravity. The only hair that is not fur. The good hair. All the other hair is fur. White people have fur. You see, they're all with fur. You see, white people, they have fur. This is the good hair that defies gravity, which is the number 9 hair. It comes up straight out of the scalp and it curls into the number 9. 9 is completion. You see what I'm saying? So you straighten that out with your permanent and all, you getting rid of the number 9 hair. Then you understand why your transmitters are shut down and why we're This is the transmitter of God. It's called hair root, hair, the melanin, the triple blackness of space in the melanin, which is the double helical structure of DNA, which is your hair. So Hare Krishna, cat, C, which means also China for Krishna, China for Sirius. Tishtira means Sirius, all around the world. You see, Blue Star Krita, which is the Hopi Indians here, which means Sirius. The coyote, which means the dog, the great dog of Sirius. The dog star, which means Sirius. Dog spelled backwards is God, which is talking about the barking. The dog barks to warn you of a coming sign, barking and warning the children, which is all related into the thing. Without the whole thing, the Godhead is all one. So it says the unveiling of the company of heaven. Every number is infinite. That's why in Atlanta they say the new numbers is coming to Georgia. They got the new lottery and they got the balls of the numbers moving through space. Because they know that the lottery was started in Harlem with black people because they got the stuff in the archetypes of the collective unconsciousness. You say, well, how we used to function, we didn't need no mathematics because the numbers is in your head. So that carried over all the way when you were slaves in Harlem. And you used to go and those numbers would come through dreams. And you would run out and get those numbers. Yeah. Dutch Schultz got it and took it over, and that's how you got your lottery system. So right now, the reason why you can't hit, sometimes you get lucky. The reason why you can't hit, don't you know they got a button? They say they got a button, they got all the black stove section off. They say, first of all, that lottery is run on what black people hit. They go, let's see what black people hit. They mash a button. They say all them stoves have hit 783. They say, okay, that means that black people have dreamed that because they're the ones that's got the archetype of the collective unconscious where the numbers come out of the universe. So what they do is they say, okay, we weight them balls down. They weight the number on one of those balls with a silver paint. So when the ball come up, bloop, bloop, it'll come up, you say, black people always say this here, I got 2 of them numbers, but I don't know what happened to the third one. Am I lying? You hit that lottery and you get 2 of them numbers. You say, and then I was one off. Black people are mostly one off. That's because they weight that ball down with silver paint. So the other 2 will come up, that ball won't come up. Because they done mashed the button before 6 o'clock. And they know what you're playing. Because they know it's coming out of your head. So every number is infinite. Help me, O warrior lord of thieves, unveiling before the children of men. O thou had the black dot, my secret sinner, in my heart, my tongue. Behold, is revealed Awas, the minister of heart, Heru Pakrat, which means Awas is also the spoken word of what is on the inside of you, which means God. Awas is called Ansu, which means the first triple black god of space, which is also the god of Sirius. His name is also Melchizedek, that I'm hooked up with also, because I met Awas the last weekend of October. In the Spence Metaphysical Bookstore, so this stuff is real. We got the juice. We don't have to go nowhere. I'm telling you right now, y'all be down with it. And I'm not talking about be with me. I'm not talking about follow me. I'm talking about y'all get on the frequency so we can wear that behind. This is stuff we talking about. We already tapped in. We don't have to say when it's coming. We live in manifestation of it.
You asked me to remind you about Dion's book.
Yeah, Dion's poetry. Let me get into that before okay. And let me just get to this one little point, then I'll get, okay. So he talked about Atlantis. He said that the mutant was created then. And it created before the other 26,000 years. Come to find out, the reason why they gave Aleister Crowley this book was Aleister Crowley was one of those priests that created the mutant in Atlantis. So karmically, he had to become one of his creations. So he first became this particular priest in the 26th dynasty called Ankin Kunsu. And he's a black man on this stuff. So when Aleister Crowley went back to Egypt in 1904 and his wife started going into trance and said, Heru is waiting for you, because Heru is also Awas. This particular person here was reincarnated into Aleister Crowley, so he became this priest in the 26th dynasty. Then he became a guy called Elipius Levi. In the mid-1800s, in the year he died, he was an occultist. Aleister Crowley was born. So in actuality, he had to come because he had his hand on in creating the first mutants on the planet. So therefore, he had to bring them the book of law, and if they did a certain amount of spiritual rituals, they could get the black dot, which is melanin. You see. But since I know up to 1993, it's been 98% unsuccessful for that crap. You see what I'm saying? So now, this is what went on because he had his hand in on creating the mutant. Also, I asked, was Gerald Massey, who went in the British Museum and wrote all the good stuff about black people in his book, Ancient Egypt, Light of the World, Natural Genesis, and Book of the Beginning. I asked him, if you want to get a good book, those books cost, 2 volumes is $90. To ship all that, if you want to get a good book, just get Gerald Massey's lectures. You can get all his major works. It costs you about $300, $400, $500, $600. You can get all his major works in one book. Come to find out, I said, was he a part of the Brotherhood? They said, yeah, he was. So when he went into the British Museum, he was writing down the stuff on the real science on what we were in the whole 9 yards, and he was looking into it and bringing it black, because all the other Egyptologists who went in, they was writing the stuff white. Come to find out, I said, well, is he black? They said he was a part of the Brotherhood. This is what Melchizedek was saying. And then they gave me some information that I was surprised to know. I said, dang, now that's a confirmation like a mother. They said that not only that, he was a black man that was passing. Gerald Massey was a black man that was passing. And walked into the British Museum and recorded all the stuff. They said this is what he was. So Aleister Crowley was a black man too, and because see, 20% of white people are not white. They have the melanin. See the melanin is not just with the skin. It's not. The melanin is the black dot that is in the top of the base of it, at the base of the skull, at the top of the spine. One of my brothers he went to medical school right up here in Michigan. He said that he had a boy that used to work in autopsies. They said the boy came in and said, you want to know when white people die, they want to find out whether they're black or white? He said, come in, he said, they split that skull open, they got that black skull, they know that they're black people. That's the melanin. Which the melanin is called the dark night of the soul. We're going to take it on a higher metaphysical level with melanin. It's not just stuff that makes you brown and the whole chemical thing. No, melanin is the soul. It's called the black dark night of the soul. See, when they tapped into metaphysics, what most of the black people was dealing with, most of the black scholars like Diop and them was dealing with, they was dealing on the white man's level of science. They didn't understand that the white man had a whole occult school that he had hidden from him. And it's all in the occult. You see that eye of Heru, the eye of Heru and the children is born out of that eye, and he defends their souls. That particular black substance is the triple blackness of space. It's the same stuff that is in the black holes in space, and it's the same stuff that is the fabric of the universe. It's the same stuff that's in the womb. And when a star in the middle of all stars is the black substance melanin. And when that star burns out, that's what you see. As a matter of fact, now let's go into, I told you I was going to explain to you how could God be a star. Elijah Muhammad said, them stars up there, we put them up there. You're not going crazy now. What you mean by that? I'll show you what it means by that. When you die, if you go to certain incarnations, after you graduate so many schools on this planet or other schools, your graduation, you become a small star in that sky. So what you've seen out there is the souls of your folks. That's the gods that's now governing other solar systems. They used to be. But on this earth, you can become that small star. When you see Jesus with that halo, once it hits that black substance, that black dot, that halo shines. When you see Jesus with that halo, that's that crown sharp shining. That's a star. That's a star. Now, how does God become a star? He was the first soul. Now, listen, like I said before, let's get out of this foolishness about whether we follow in the Father or whether we follow in the Son. What we don't understand is all of them God, the Most High. You call him Allah, you call him Adonis, you call him Atan, you call him what you want. The problem why you got a fight between Muslims and Christians, whether you follow the Father and the Son, that particular star, that God that you call the Most God, High God, has a mother. That's the key to the whole thing. That God up there is nothing but a grain of sand on a lonely beach compared to the great mother. And if he messes up, he can create another. As a matter of fact, that God up there is no male. There's no such thing as males at all. Talk to me. There's no such thing as males at all. The male is nothing but a masculine expression of the feminine. That triple blackness of space up there she's the triple blackness of space that sets in the constellation of Draco. And in your Quran it tells you that Am means God and Lot means, L-O-T, the side of T means the triple blackness of space, the mother. It's the mother and Allah means the mother and the child combined. Sophis is a Greek word for the mother and the child combined. Typhon, which means triple blackness of space, Newt, and Soot, Typhon means mother and child combined. And Soot is the child. He has a mother. It even goes even further than that. There's no such thing as male, period. Let me go into this stuff. She's the triple blackness of space, so black till she has to express herself. So she cuts herself open with a netta-ax, the number 7, which is a netta-ax, and she reveals herself with light. That first light is that first child, Soot, or Sirius, Soot, Yahweh, Adonai, and Takshidi, all that which means the manifestation of God from the mother. That's only the expression of the great mother as that first star. Because inside of that star is the black mother, is the black God that takes it back to the great mother. To let you know that, it's like when you were born out of triple blackness of space, and that the first thing you're born is that melanin, that black dot is in the womb, and is born out of triple blackness of space. But you know doggone well if there was such thing as male and female, how come it's only the last 6 months until that doggone girl turns into a doggone boy? Think about it. It's a female in the last 6 months, whether it's going to remain female or whether the clitoris becomes an elongated penis. And that's how you get the male. There's no such thing as dualism, masculine and feminine. There's only feminine, and the masculine is the masculine or the aggressive part of the feminine. It's all about the great mother. The triple blackness of space. That's what I'm about. That's why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that Allah created himself out of the feminine womb of the universe. Well, if he created himself out of the feminine womb of the universe, then what does that mean? That means there had to be something there before him. In the beginning there was triple blackness of space. There was darkness, then the light came. But that darkness is something because you are the living manifestation of that triple blackness of space. That's what you are. Now let's get into one other thing. The reason, okay, then we're going to handle the question for you. The reason why this ain't working for you, you saying you've been trying to get things to work for you since you got out of slavery, and nothing seems to work. Yeah, a few little niggas get a few Cadillacs. You know, think they made it. The white man's nigga. There's a ceiling on how high he can go. But yeah, we made it. And y'all niggas are lazy. But we made it. Show you how we did it. You see what I'm saying? Look, the reason why I hadn't made it, because if the master you ain't made it, ain't nobody really made it. I am because we are. Remember we had the African proverb. I am because we are. We are because we are. Because I am. No chain is stronger than the weakest link. Right? So we all one. So if that person thinks he made it, in actuality he's just an expression of a race that didn't make it. He is the part that is actually an abandonment. It's just like the white man gave him a few more drugs to make him be hit in the head to think that he is made it. In actuality he's still oppressed. You understand? He just got a little more than alcohol in the Mercedes, in the BS degree, in all this stuff here. Now, I can talk this stuff, but see, I went to them schools, so it ain't like I'm on the outside looking in. You know that ain't getting on jack, nothing. And you know you never really don't learn nothing there, because the average person, the dumbest thing on earth is the black college people. Why? Because you become a manicured fool. Even with college store ignorance. Nobody can tell you nothing. You know, and then the goal, I'm dropping this kind of science, and I actually get black people to think that they can actually, and I ain't read book Adams since college, and they can actually come with some debate. Maybe just be going on just straight up nothing, talking nothing. Yeah. The reason why this don't work for you you is, I'm going to tell you why this don't work for you and it's not going to work for you. Because you've outgrown this level. See, you failed this level to come back to God. You didn't fall this level to get back to Egypt. That stopping post on your way down. You see what I'm saying? To get a civilization, run my own civilization, run my own gas station. Oh, those are doggone foolishness. That's nothing. Running a country and running the earth is nothing on that level. You're the God for the universe. And nothing, and they're saying you're supposed to be nothing short of that. So this is why nothing works for you. This is why the Afrocentric community tried to go back to Egypt. And the reason why the thing burned out, the Afrocentric community, and Dr. Melanin couldn't really tell you nothing. But it's after a while, after they told you who you were, you started following them. For the simple fact that they was only halfway. They didn't go back to the God. None of them believe they God. None of the Afrocentric scholars believe they gods. Only one that come close is Richard King. Because he was tapped into the cup. That's why his first stuff on Melanin works until the other people try to get it in on the chemical level. All his stuff is decoded in Egyptian mythology. That's why it worked, because he tapped into their cup. You see what I'm saying? I peeped him when they came. I said, you can read some out of the crawling. So he said, yeah, brother. And we was up in the hotel room. He was hollering, woo, brother, you know, yeah. Because he know what time it is. You see, because he know what time it is. And the whole time you thinking it's about some doggone medical thing. It ain't about that. It's on a higher level than that. It is the soul. The dark night of the soul is what it is. That black eye. That is the soul. And if you don't have that melanin, you don't have no soul. So therefore, it's funny why white people treat you the way they do. You don't have no soul. But stick with me, because I'm going to tell you why the reason they really treat you the way treat you the way they do. And it's a book that came out in 1975 that explains all of that. And it's funny. One book came out in 1970, and we print this book over and over. It never went out of print. But the other book that came out later, they never printed it again. I said, oh, I got it. I said, oh, because see, the first book said that God was a black crow, a black raven, a black man. Then he cut it off. I said, oh, so this next book got to be bad. And then I found the book about 2 weeks ago. And I'm going to tell you some things they said on you. Now, we're going to get to the point you said. What was that, Roman?
Oh, you're talking about psychic self-defense.
Yeah. Now, we're going to have to start getting on psychic self-defense. There was a sister in New York. She's in Harlem. We're ready to go see her tomorrow. She lives in Queens. And she was all into the Afrocentric thing and all of this. She got my tapes in the whole 9 yards. But she got a sister that was in Rochester, New York. She didn't want to hear none of that black stuff. I don't hear that old black stuff. And they called her, you see that old black stuff? But see, we schizophrenic. But she was up in Rochester getting on them white people. Oh, I'm bad, and I'm listening to this stuff here. But she in the school system. White people say, okay, you bad. Okay, we're going to show you some stuff. She started waking up with cuts on her, cigarette burns, all kind of cut, slash marks, stab wounds, and all that stuff. And she was about to die. And the sister who remembered one of my tapes and heard me talk about a book called Dion Fortune's Psychic Self-Defense. And she went down to Samuel Wise's and brought that book and sent it to her. And the sister said that she started reading that book, and it was because of that book. And if it wasn't for that book, she would have died. That book saved her life. So this is some stuff that's going down, which we talk about psychic self-defense. So now we're gonna get into what we call, number one, we got the actual power, because the Sirius ceremony is done every 30 years, every 60 years by the Dogon was done the last time I was here, April 23rd. Now in the spiritual, I'm back here again on June 23rd. But we know the Sirius ceremony, the white man tell you, once the Sirius ceremony is done and repolarized Saturn and Jupiter, it's all over. That means it's the birthday of Nomo, which is in the fish, which is Christ. It's the birthday of Jesus, who is Heru, who is Osiris, who is the manifestation of Osiris re-resurrected. It is the birthday of Osiris. You see what I'm saying? So that's what's going on. Number one, I want to tell you another thing also about that small stuff. The only thing that's documented in history, we got the papyrus of the Pharaoh Pepi. He's one of the few people that say, when we die, we don't know where we went. Ain't nobody ever died and we knew where they went. That's bullshit. Go read them. And you can get it in the Sirius Mystery, or you can get it in Egyptian. Get the Sirius Mystery by Robert Temple. In there they tell you that Pharaoh Pepi, not only did he die, but they show exactly where he went. He went straight to Sirius and became one of the stars around the Sirius star system. So that lets you know that your ancestors are going on those stars out there. It's just like that halo you see around Jesus Christ's head. When he gets in the celestial realm, it's a star. It's a sun, because all you are sons. Remember I said that your planet is going back up into the sun and you becoming sons. You're nothing but the solar product of the sun. Your sun out there don't exist. That's only a reflection of a greater sun. That greater sun is Sirius. There's no sun out there. You see it's black out there. You don't see no sun. Only thing you see is Sirius out there and other big stars. Our sun is 93 million miles away, and that is a reflection of a greater sun. That greater sun is Sirius. And what it is your atmosphere is nothing but one big magnifying glass. Which it is dark outside of your atmosphere. You don't even see no sun. You can't see your hand. But up under that magnifying glass, you got a magnified Sirius. Because Sirius is called Auton. It's also called Amen. And I asked Melchizedek, I said, is Amen Sirius or Amen the sun? He said, Amen is the sun. Then I came back, I said, is Auton Sirius? He said, Auton is Sirius. Then he came back and said, there's no difference between Auton and Amen. I said, oh, I get it now. Our sun is nothing but a reflection of a greater sun. See, the true father of our solar system and our universe is the star sun Sirius, which black people live around those 7 planets, which is documented in the Golden Dawn Tarot book, in those 7 planets and stuff. So our sun is nothing but a greater sun, nothing but a reflection of a greater sun. So now that city ceremony that we talk about in Pepe, let's go back to the city ceremony. It's done. That means it's all over. So in actuality, our grace period is up. It's been up since December 26th. And this city ceremony is the manifestation of God, and the planet gets back. So in actuality, they beyond time. The only thing that is lagging behind is you. They're waiting on us. Now let's think about it now. Listen, seriously. You know the Creator right now is listening to every thought we say is being recorded. Now let's make a commitment tonight for everybody in this room to get on the frequency. Because you want to take the peace.